Hello, everybody. This is the one and only Banhammer Podcast, and you're with myself, Hosh, and you know who I'm with, Mr.
I don't know, what's my name? Levi, that's it.
Mr. Levi. And we are recording this podcast, episode 4, for the second time because last time we went a bit overboard, and I think we were doing shows, an hour long, and we wanted to shorten them, maybe about 40 minutes, and the last show ended up 2.5 hours, so we thought, do you know what, I'm just going to scrap that.
2.5 hours long of one show.
And start all over again.
Show.
Yeah, we're going to try and keep things a bit more structured this time.
It
now helps that we've got a timer on the screen so we can see how long we're going.
It's all black and white and has big bold numbers.
You know, last time, genuinely, I thought we'd been talking for an hour. Like, I thought, it's just approaching the hour mark. We've gone overboard a little bit.
It's easy.
Until I realised it was actually the second hour. It revolved twice around the clock.
The clock was lying, that's the issue.
Yeah.
It was lying
what
to
is
me.
real in this room? Maybe it's because this room's got no windows. It's sending us loopy.
See, it kind of seems like I should be in a straitjacket now. I'm in a room with no windows and it's all black.
And padded walls. Yeah, that's just the acoustic tiles.
This isn't a mental institute, by the way. This is not a mental institute. Don't worry about that.
Right. Okay, let's move on before we do the same thing again. Right, I'll ask you the question, what is new? What is new in the hood? Not that you live in the hood, but yeah, what's good?
If the place where I lived could be called a hood, there'd be something seriously wrong with the world. I'll tell you that now. But what has been going on? Nothing much, it's just been chill other than blowing up a computer. Well, not blowing up a computer, but blowing up a computer.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this. Yeah, you've not got a PC at the moment working.
No, the power supply decided it was gonna go to the place in the sky where all the dead power supplies go.
How long have you been out? How long have you not had a PC? Access to one?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I thought it was more than that. It
weeks.
feels like about a month now. That's why I've not seen you on Skype recently for a while.
Yeah, that happened. Now it's just that ever-annoying factor of money.
Right.
Lord forbid. But hopefully I will be back and up running with a PC in 2 weeks. But in time I've been playing a bit of Destiny, a bit of Dragon Age, just to pass the time. It's allowed me to do more of the other things I enjoy other than going on a computer.
Right, okay.
I should probably cut back on that. But yeah.
Well, with me, I'll tell you what, tomorrow I'm actually going to a gaming convention in the Northwest that's been running for the last few years now, about 5 years, and that is the mighty Play Expo.
Play Expo.
And if you don't know anything about that, they started it in Blackpool, actually, in Norbrick Castle a few years ago, and they would run that once a year, and then they expanded, and a few years ago they decided to start doing it in Manchester as well. It's just, I've forgotten what the name of the place is. It's just off from where Trafford is.
I have no idea where you're on about, to be honest. I know of Play Expo, I do not know where it is.
Yeah, the Trafford Centre. It's literally a walk away from there, so we just got a bus there last time and walked across. And they've started doing sort of Play Expo. It started as Replay, which it was all aimed at retro games originally. It was like, a big hall with lots of computers, old computers, Spectrums, Amigas, that sort of thing, and SNESes, Super Nintendos, Mega Drives, and lots of stalls, talks and things like that. And then they changed it to Play, because Play kind of encompasses modern gaming as well, so you still got a lot of the retro stuff, but I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, so I should be getting up in the morning, going with a couple of mates. I went last year, I had a lot of fun. It was my first experience of something like that, and it really felt like, I'd only ever seen that sort of thing on, sort of Americanized videos of like Comic-Con and that sort of thing, with lots of people dressed up in crazy outfits and that sort of cosplay,
Everyone loves cosplay or hates cosplay. It's kind of like Marmite.
But I remember we were in the bus, and the mate I was with, Steve, was like looking at this guy, and he says, like, that guy, he's actually wearing a Mass Effect jacket, and he knew because it said something like NS7 on the side.
NS7 on the side of it.
I didn't know. I'd not played it at that time, so I didn't realise. And then as we got closer, you started realising there was more people, and he was like, "Hang on, That guy's got a barcode on tattooed on the back of his head. Oh, it's Hitman.
Oh God, there's dozens of us, literally dozens.
We walked in and it was kind of a completely different world, but that's what I'm doing.
It's a different atmosphere completely.
It's a shame that you can't come.
Yeah, I mean the computer blew up on me, and it's kind of got to get money to replace that first.
And you're busy. You're doing a gig, aren't you? This Sunday?
Yeah, I have a gig on Sunday.
A local music shop. So that's cool.
It's gonna be fun.
What kind of music are you playing?
What kind of music? What's the set list? Rock music mainly.
So you said, well, we had this discussion earlier, but you said each one of the band members is doing a different song. So is each person singing?
I think all of us are singing.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm singing Little Monster by Royal Blood.
Right,
and Promise by Slash and Chris Cornell.
Right, I don't know those songs. I probably might have heard them, but I'm more. If you're talking drum and bass, I'll be all right.
See, that's an area where I know nothing. Literally, know nothing.
I'm kind of the same when it comes to indie rock and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I respect it. It's all right, but I'm more electronic.
I acknowledge it. Don't stray there, but yeah.
So, moving on to the main feature. We kind of discussed this last time, but we were kind of going overboard with the amount of time.
We went OTT, so I think
we're doing all right. 6.5 minutes into the show so far. We've got plenty of time.
The main topic of the show is it's going to be TGS.
And TGS, for those who don't know, is the Tokyo Game Show,
which I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, happened, was it last week or the week before?
I think it was a couple of weeks ago now.
Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now, but TGS has had a lot of games been released there, or announced there, I should say, and they've been good games. I know Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain was announced at last year's one.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard of that game, it's very good.
It was last year that the other Metal Gear Solid game came out. I remember.
Ground Zeroes, it was called.
Yeah, I remember that was it created a lot of controversy because you could finish the game in about 40 minutes.
You could finish it very quickly because the game is only actually one mission.
And the problem is,
it's a prologue. Yeah, but they didn't tell you that. It was still AAA prices.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem.
Luckily, when I got the game from PlayStation Plus on the monthly games for free, and I wasn't a fan of it. I think maybe it was because I played with the Metal Gear Solid original controls and it felt clunky. I'm used to games like Splinter Cell, and it had this really smooth stealth aspect and feeling to it, and I picked up Metal Gear and it was why is this game's controls designed to make the game harder? That's what it felt like when I picked it up. And I think it kind of put me off a bit, and that's why I've not strayed and picked up the Phantom Pain yet.
Judging basing it on your kind of games that you tell me about, what we usually talk about, you're into your sort of almost Twitch control, beat 'em up, slash 'em ups, Devil May Cry's, Bayonettas, Street Fighters, BlazBlue, Guilty Gear,
definitely.
Yeah. So playing something that you kind of take a back seat on the Twitch, and it's
you have to
a bit
think
more,
about it.
a bit more thought process and slower. Yeah,
I love stealth. I mean, I know you're playing through Deus Ex recently.
I was gonna say that it's a good game, and I really like it now. And this is, I want to actually have a session in one of the shows where I talk a bit more about that. Yeah. I'm not going to do this one. Deus Ex is one of my favourite games of all time. The original one that came out, and it was amazing. A lot of it had to do with the time that I played it because it was revolutionary. But the second one, it's not the second one. It's the third one, Human Revolution. I've been playing the last few weeks, but
played a little bit of it. I've not played a lot of it.
I'm just getting really. I seem to find myself getting a bit bored of it.
Does it have that repetitiveness of wait for patrols, figure the patrols out?
It is a good game. It is a good. Can't deny that. But I whacked it up on hard, and you just one shot and you're dead. And I must have died, I'm not joking, realistically about 200 times in the game so far.
That's like a masochist's kind of game. It's like me and Dragon Age. I'm playing that on the hardest difficulty.
It's really ruining me.
Impossible.
But I don't want to dwell on that. I'll say that for another show.
So anyway.
Yeah. So going through the actual games, we've not got them all. A few weeks ago, and I'm just going off memory from what I saw a few weeks ago. I woke up one morning. I didn't even know it was on, and I checked. Promoting the forum that I use, that's Rulmuck Forum.
Shameless
for anyone
plug
that
there,
doesn't know
shameless
anything
plug.
about that, I'm a big supporter of that because I've been using that for so many years. I
I
get a lot of
don't
my
really use
information
it,
there as
so-
well. But someone had posted the Tokyo Game Show, and it just happened to start at 8 o'clock that morning. So it was kind of, I think I was waiting to get up, get ready for work.
You've seen some of it. You actually saw it
Yeah, I was there
live.
when it was live, and it was literally about 5 minutes before Square Enix, his slot came on.
Oh,
But
that's pretty
they
awesome.
were, yeah,
I
they
didn't
were
see
just
it.
sort of really short 5-minute, 10-minute scenes of short trailers of their upcoming games. So rather than sort of the in-depth talks and discussions about the mechanics, the story and the gameplay and that, it was just to show you
Bite-sized trailer of what
bite-sized.
you're gonna get.
And again, I think this was on for the best part of a week. And that was just the beginning of it when it literally just first started. So that's all I saw. But some of the games caught my eye, and clearly I'm not going to play them all. But I thought I'd put some together that I thought were fairly interesting, and I'll bring up and kind of go through and see if you have an interest, in some of these. Starting off with an interesting one, we were talking about in a previous show. Resident Evil and the upcoming interest with Capcom, because with Resident Evil,
the Resident Evil series,
they've recently made the sort of HD remake of the remake on the GameCube, which is something I'm interested in getting, and they're planning on doing the remake of Resident Evil 0, which was the second game unique exclusive to the GameCube, and those are two games that I wouldn't mind playing, so I know they're both going to be available.
I've not really played any of the Resident Evil series,
Yeah.
but from what I've heard, I don't know if it's part of the Resident Evil series or it shares the same makers, but a game that reminded me in a way because of the zombie aspects of it was Umbrella Corps.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm leading on to. Basically, like I was saying, they're in like that. The Resident Evil remake and the Zero were sort of the first two games to come up that sort of piqued my interest a bit, and then Revelations 2 also came out not too long ago. I don't think it did that great. In fact, my uncle said that he'd seen like a physical copy of that, and it'd been reduced from $37.99 to £5.
Ooh,
New.
The sting.
So I've got a feeling that's not done too
must
good.
hurt, really.
And obviously people are still awaiting news on, say, Resident Evil 7. In fact, I saw that thread appear, get bumped just recently on the forums. I've not read it, but I'm guessing. I'm just kind of wondering whether there's been some information on that. And as well as that, Resident Evil, there was a fan make of Resident Evil 2 which I discussed previously, and Capcom have jumped on the idea of doing an official remake. So it seems like, and I've even heard about a movie briefly being looked
There's
into.
going to be a movie
there's
as
going to
well.
be another one as well. So I think they focus on building up, and then that might be
Interesting.
preparation for Resident Evil 7 that'll inevitably come out, and I think it's probably just to get people's interest and to secure some confidence, because in the Resident Evil series it's been going downhill a little bit.
Has it been like a bit of a letdown?
Yeah,
from-
well, Resident Evil was always about the suspense and the atmosphere, particularly in the old days, and I know 4 was renowned, and I've never, believe it or not, I've never played that. I will at some point, but it did change the over-the-shoulder perspective. But when it came to sort of 5 and 6, it started to change a bit. Particularly 6, I think, was classed as more of an action game, and then they came out with Operation Raccoon City, which was
I've heard of it.
not really done that
don't
well.
Really know
it
much
reminded
about
me
it.
of Mass Effect a bit, again, Gears of War-esque
that
sort
kind of actiony third person.
When I say it
feel.
reminds me of Mass Effect, I don't mean the gameplay of the story arcing and all that kind of thing. I mean literally sort of like the perspective and the sort of gameplay in a way, the action part of it. But Resident Evil has never really been about action, but it doesn't stop them coming up with spin-offs nevertheless. And the game that you mentioned, which was brought up at Tokyo Game Show, is Umbrella Corps, and you're looking at me funny like you've got some information on your phone that means we have to stop recording.
Oh no.
What's up?
Nothing really. I just find this song quite interesting. Some Power of Stellar in the background, some electro
Alright.
swing. Anyway, going on to Umbrella Corps.
Yeah, so
It was
I've been looking at this.
interesting.
It doesn't seem to be gaining a lot of positive attention. You know, it's essentially, from what I've seen, I think it's a first-person game. It's either a first-person game
It's
or...
a first-person by the looks of it, and it looks like it's going to be online, or a hell of a lot of it's going to be online.
Yeah, it's an exclusive game online. It looks okay, but it seems to be garnering a lot of sort of mixed
I can't think of it as
in
a
fact,
Resident
more
Evil
negative
game anymore, though,
because of what it's going to be. Yeah,
it doesn't scream Resident Evil to me. And
yeah.
I can't really say it would because I've not played any of the games. Well, I played a bit of, I think it was 5, and I hated it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the one in, I think they're in Africa or something like that. Or,
I can't remember. It was so long ago.
It's more about a virus. No, yeah, the original ones are a virus. It's kind of... They changed it. To be honest, I barely played it. I know there was an AI character in it where there's a girl and you can play it local co-op. I played it once, but we'd been drinking heavily that night. And I can barely remember what happened.
Yeah, that normally happens.
You know, yeah, it happens when you drink heavily. So
remember, kids, don't drink heavily.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to play that again.
But yeah, Resident Evil, maybe at some point I'll invest myself into the series, but I don't think I will. I'll have a look at Umbrella Corps though.
Right, moving on. Another one that it has piqued my interest a bit. I didn't know much about. It's called Nioh, and it's made by Team Ninja.
Nioh.
Now,
I have an issue with this game straight away, purely because of the main character.
Oh, right. Well, just to like paint a picture of Nioh, apparently it was announced 10 years ago. And it was supposed to be intended on the PS3.
PS2. Was it the PS3?
The PS3. Well, yeah, if you think about it, 10 years ago, when we're at 2015.
God.
2005, time goes by really quickly.
It's been a while.
2005, because when did the PS3 come out? It must have been around about 06, yeah.
So it must
have been announced
then.
as a launch title.
A launch title?
Don't forget, I'm talking about before it was made, when it was kind of first announced, and it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't come across that because I think back then I wasn't really following what was going on there anyway, because I didn't get a PS3 until about 2011.
The launch titles... Well, the launch title I played was Heavenly Sword. And that was like showing off the whole 6-axis motion control thing they had going on. It was good.
Yeah.
I hated the last boss. I had no patience for it and never bothered with it.
Right.
One day I'll get back to doing it, but yeah.
Did that game didn't have like Mass Effect style conversations and stuff?
No.
I don't know. There was a game I saw. I might be getting mixed up. It looked like I think it's a different game. It looked really like poor, but I swear it had the same voice actor as Liara from Mass Effect, but it was like a poor game.
I wouldn't know because
it was really weird watching her as a different character the same, but I could tell it was her. I'm pretty sure, 99% certain.
I've played Mass Effect but not invested in the series, so I wouldn't really know. But back to Nioh.
Nioh, it's from what we can see, it looks like a game very heavily influenced around
the Dark Souls
series, but it's got a samurai feel to it. It's also a little bit janky around the edges, but you've got to bear in mind it's a 10-year-old title.
That's just
so it's not going to be your 100% full-on polished, all singing and dancing game, but it's about the gameplay, and that's what the Japanese kind of do a lot.
I've seen a bit of gameplay, and it had no. You couldn't see the controls or anything that was going on.
Yeah.
It had no HUD whatsoever. But what I was looking at when I was watching it, it had this almost Assassin's Creed counter system where you would wait, block, counter, insta kill, and
I think there's a slow pace to it, definitely, and it's about like if anyone again, Dark Souls is one that I've not actually played yet.
Oh, I haven't, so I can't really.
And it's one that I'm definitely planning on playing at some point, and I know it's about being brutally hard, and I know it's about dying over and over again and figuring out how to sort of like progress and handle a situation, particularly bosses. So you're gonna have to figure out how to kill somebody. But it's one of those, apparently, once you know what you're doing, you can go through it really quickly.
Yeah.
Now this looks like similar sort of thing. It's based around I think he's called William or something. He's got an English name, and the character looks,
the spits
as you said,
of the Witcher character.
Yeah,
Of,
I haven't played in The Witcher either,
The
but I
Wild
know
Hunt. I think it
I
was
saw
The
a
Witcher
comparison. It doesn't just look similar. It
He's
looks
a twin.
identical.
He's an identical twin.
So I've got this
Except he was
feeling that
shipped
even
off to
though the
Japan.
game was developed 10 years ago, initially, from conception,
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that they kind of waited on the main character, and it was only in the last year or so that they decided, hang on, we're going to change the main character based on, after seeing Witcher or something.
I've seen we're playing a lot of DMC games and Japanese main characters, especially from Capcom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The white hair I was expecting white hair.
Yeah.
Dante, Nero, people like that. It was like white hair was a given. But when I saw it, it did scream to me, Witcher. Hopefully, it's not going to be an outright clone, and he's going to have some kind of different personality.
It's whether it's even going to get released over here. I'd like to assume so, but it's got very much that.
Hopefully
sort of
it does, because I'm interested.
Far East, sort of culture and that, especially being sort of samurais and that sort of law. But you do get a lot of that. You do get these games coming out more over here, but you have to really look for them. So I'm guessing it'll come out, but probably it will sort of limited numbers, But I'm kind of intrigued.
God.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably jump on the Dark Souls before I look into that, and then I might see if I can.
I know that it was
up a copy,
Blood
maybe like
something,
at least a year.
Blood something on the PS4. I can't remember the name of it, but that was part of the Soul series as well.
Blood.
I'll find it. Give me a moment.
Bloods.
It's not Bloodstained.
I was going to say
Bloodstained's
Bloodstained.
the Castlevania
Yeah.
spiritual successor. I'm pretty sure.
All I can think of is there's Dark Soul. Well, no, so it's Demon Souls, followed up by Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2. I think there was like an expansion on it, like Die Harder or something like that. And obviously Blood. Oh, you're talking about Bloodborne. I can't believe I didn't think about that.
Bloodborne, there you go.
Yeah.
And actually, funnily enough, I think Dark Souls 3 is slated for next year.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't think about that. I was thinking of like something I didn't know about. I was like,
I've just heard of it in
Bloodborne.
passing. So I've not played it or anything like that.
That looks pretty cool. But anyway, that's Nioh. So if you're into those kind of games, definitely keep a lookout on that.
Keep an eye open for
There's
it.
not enough I can say about the gameplay. I did want to talk a bit more about that.
But there wasn't a lot out there to actually talk about, really. I watched the trailer and
it was a few weeks ago since I was reading up on the video and stuff. I can't remember the particular gameplay elements and that. But again, this is more of an overview and to give you an idea of what's coming out. So
the one I remembered very clearly from TGS's PlayStation VR.
PlayStation VR.
That's one I remember.
That's one.
I was actually watching a few videos, especially from people who've actually tried it.
Yeah.
There's a few places VR would be quite awesome in. That's MMOs. For me, definitely MMOs. Playing MMOs ever since I've grown up. I think if VR or even AR, augmented reality, could factor into it, I think it'd be so much fun. And definitely the horror series.
Yeah, being totally immersed. I mean, going back onto the history of this, I first came across it sort of right at the inception of when the PS4 was just before the PS4 and the
Morpheus,
Xbox One
wasn't it?
was going to get released, and it was funny because I remember the PlayStation had the VR device, which was Morpheus, like you said, that they talked about, and the Xbox One had something else, and that was like some kind of projection screen where you use it would project an image onto the entire wall of where you were playing. So you would see like a screen outside the screen, and it could be to just add an extra ambience. So say you were killing someone in a game and blood would splatter from the TV, it would actually splatter outside the TV all over the wall.
Oh,
so
that'd be quite
the actual detail, you wouldn't need to worry about the detail on the wall. It would just give you that extra immersion, and
like
it would turn your entire
4D
room,
effect.
your room into an entire environment without using a helmet.
That's kind of awesome.
Very different concept, but I think it could, in the right environment, it could be quite clever.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is it didn't matter if you had, because obviously everyone's not got the perfect square room with a perfectly straight wall. It didn't matter if you had like shelves and bookcases and that sort of thing in front of you, because it would remap and analyze the angles of things and try and change it, like the keystone values, so that each section would show up flat as a flat image. So even if you had angles, it would still look
rather
flat.
Interesting.
But the thing is, I've not really heard a lot of that since. I don't know if that's still planned or whatever.
They have a hologram kind of thing going on. I think that was PlayStation had PlayStation VR and Xbox had this hologram augmented reality thing.
HoloLens.
That's what it's called, HoloLens, and they previewed it with Minecraft.
Yeah, which was really interesting.
It was interesting, and I think it's very good. Especially, it looks almost like an architect's dream.
That was more augmented reality, sort of.
Yeah,
AR.
Not like complete virtual reality, but it was more AR.
I think the plan with that is to have kind of tap into both sort of AR and VR, like so where you can kind of, choose whether to be engulfed in this sort of like world or just see what's around you. I think, but again, it's too soon to find out what's going on. I mean, it got mentioned at E3 and it's gone quiet, and no doubt next year we'll find out some more information. But you've got to realise they really have to get this right, because from past experiences with things like the Kinect, nobody really wants them.
The Kinect was. I don't know what happened to the Kinect or what happened to the Move. I own the Move, and I found it was exactly the same as what the Wii did, but in miles more sensitive. You could do a lot more with it, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed obviously games like what was it called? The shooter kind of games.
Have you played Child of Eden on it?
Child of Eden?
That was actually compatible with it. I've never really. I think I've played the Kinect once, very briefly, in its early days, and it was a friend had like a sports title, a bit like the
like Wii
Xbox
Sports
equivalent of Wii Sports, and it was playing ping pong on the on the screen, but he had a big room, and it kind of worked pretty well.
Yeah.
But again, it's usually one of those that works as social gatherings, party events, but it's usually a fad, and it only lasts for so long.
I think that was my entire view on the Wii console, to be honest. It was the party console. I mean, Smash Bros.
That's why I never really went for it. I wasn't
it.
happy about the Waggle control at all for anything serious. It's just, I've tried it, but it kind of irritates me after a while. There are a few games on the Wii that I really want to check out.
It's a fun concept. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Zelda games. Are awesome.
I've not played a Zelda game since
the one I
Majora's
played
Mask.
Was it wasn't actually a Zelda game. It was a spin-off of a Zelda game, and it was Link's crossbow training.
Really? You actually played a spin-off and enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it because I've never played. Lord forbid, and I know what I'm about to say is something that shouldn't be uttered, but I've never played a Zelda game.
I think you mentioned this before.
But I've played that spin-off, and I enjoyed it, and probably because I was young and really didn't care what I was playing.
That's what it's about, because you were young, so you played that, you remember that as that game. But if you would have played the, like, say, series from when I played it, you wouldn't even give that the time of day. Yeah, because that is a completely different ball game altogether,
See, I always compared Zelda to Ratchet and Clank in games like that. And I loved Ratchet and Clank so much more. I just love the characters. That and Jak and Daxter.
It's just the design of the Zelda games has always been top notch. But I mean, I think over time they've started to. There's a lot of them now, and it's difficult to keep up that quality all the time. And there's but Ocarina of Time, the first sort of true 3D version. And I remember seeing it and thinking, is this going to be as good as, say, Zelda Link to the Past, which I played on Super Nintendo. And it was amazing. It really, really is. That's one of my favourite. And Majora's Mask, which...
Majora's Mask's the dark one. Everyone calls it the really dark one. It's got some
I never actually finished it. I never got a chance because I was at uni and I'd started it on a mate's console, but I'd finished, unfortunately, my course before I got a chance to finish it, and he went off with his save file. Yeah, I've always
But,
wanted
yeah.
to play it, and me
Anyway.
being me and wanting to play things in order, I'm like, no,
Nah, we've got to leave it until I get
But I've
the
not
other ones
got
done.
I've not really been doing much with Nintendo for a while, you know.
Neither have I. I've been out of touch with it. I mean, even I used to be a massive fan of Pokemon games and just left them. But anyway, back to PlayStation VR and its horror aspect. There was a game, I think they trialed at TGS called Kitchen, where you're in a
Right.
kitchen and you're strapped down in a chair, and you're like turning around and you can see like the kitchen. You're immersed in the kitchen as if you're actually in the chair and the kitchen's built around you.
Right.
And you have to like I don't know, you have to hold the controller. This is what annoys me about it, is that you have a VR thing on your head that should probably be able to detect motion, and you're still using a controller. Don't get me wrong, I think they could do some really cool stuff with having the PlayStation Move controllers and the VR. I think they could get away with some really cool stuff.
This
like
is
that.
where we
But
have kind of a bit of a difference of opinion, because
holding a controller
Yeah.
with VR, it kind of confines you a bit. I understand why they'd want to do it, and with certain games, yeah. But you have to shake the controller, and what it is you actually tumble the chair over, and that's how you get out of the chair. And I was watching a video about it, and it's something I would enjoy. I don't particularly play horror games. I played, I think it was Until Dawn, the one with the butterfly like affecting. And I think it would be really, really interesting, just because it takes jump scares to a whole new level.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
when you turn around and then the guy's behind you, and then it isn't just a little, oh shit. It's like, jump out of my chair, oh shit, what the hell just happened?
The thing is with games like this, and I've kind of, from what I've read before, is due to like maybe limitations or something, it's better suited to your sort of low polygon games. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like reduced to cell shade type games
Oh
only.
God, please no.
They're going to have some kind of detail, but it's obviously it'll be a fun experience playing it and experiencing these games that are kind of designed for it. But I don't want it to feel like you're playing a bunch of tech demos, which is kind of prevalent at the moment when you see examples. What I want to do for me, and this is going back to the controller issue, I don't mind that, because what's interesting me is I want to be able to play a game like that I would play anyway, you know, like your Deus Ex, like your Mass Effect, but I want to be able to play something like that in just a 3D environment where most of the time I'll be looking forward, but I could turn to left or right, even if it's not
Just like
fully
a little bit of a
360
pan,
degree.
just a little
It doesn't
pan.
necessarily have to be 360 degree, but just something to create a new experience where I can, you know, look left and right, and I can actually choose where I want to look rather than it being fixed on a screen, and just to enhance that a little bit. So it's not about the whole crazy tech that you can create specifically for that, the unique stuff.
But the stuff
it's
that
more
would just
just
be like QOL's
your
quality of
regular
life.
games with your like that, the same regular games that you play with the pad, so you can chill out. You don't have to wave your arms around, because there's only so much I feel like you can do before it gets a bit tiresome. But rather you can play a game where you can chill and be immersed in it. And the other side that is not as immersive, but it would still be interesting to see, is being able to see, sort of put yourself in an environment, say where you're in a cinema or something. You can see a huge 100-inch screen, or no,
That would be
500-inch
quite
screen, you know, and you're looking around, and you could imagine yourself in this. Well, not, you wouldn't need to imagine, you'd see it. You're in some kind of
I think it'd
huge
be
theatre, and you're playing the game, but you don't even need your TV,
Yeah.
and it just creates it. So you're still looking at a 2D image, but you're seeing it in a different environment, and that would be possible because the game wouldn't need to be designed for pure 3D, you know, looking around, because it's still 2D, but you're in an environment where it gives you the perception you're looking at a big screen. The thing is, it's all down to the limitations and the tech and the resolution, and I think that is one of the biggest issues and the biggest things they need to get right. And it's
holding it back.
The Oculus Rift has obviously been in development for a long time, and in fact, I think it was John Carmack that was involved in that at the beginning. He was the guy behind the engine. I think it was him that was behind the engine of the Doom series and Wolfenstein. You know, all that from the past. I know he was involved in it. And a couple of years ago, Facebook bought it off them for whatever, $700 million. It was a Kickstarter originally. I think they only needed something like $50,000 or something like that, or $75,000. Quite low key. People backed it. Yeah, this is great. Then they get an offer from Facebook. Oh yeah, by the way, we'd like to buy your tech. We're willing to offer you $700 million. So they're like ka-ching rich.
Yeah, that's
so it
the
kind
issue
of like
with that.
takes a piss with the backers, really.
Oh yeah, because
we've given you our money,
Minecraft.
and now you're multi-millionaires. I mean, well, I'd say someone like John Carmack is probably a multi-millionaire anyway, because he's the
Minecraft
guy
thing
behind
when,
these engines.
I think it. Who
Unreal
is it who
Engine,
made
yeah.
Minecraft?
What's that? Sorry.
Who was the guy who made Minecraft who originally designed it? Notch. As soon as they heard that Facebook was getting the Oculus Rift, he pulled out all backing of Minecraft on the Oculus Rift.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I think I've.
in his
remember
words,
something.
I think,
about
don't
that.
quote me about this,
He wanted
he
it
said
to be about gaming.
it's creepy, and he didn't like the idea of them tracking eye movements to get like what you prefer in ads and stuff like that. It is.
Yeah, he's looking at it from a more of an advertisement, social
Yeah. But
networking use.
It does
It's a
feel
bit
kind of
different,
creepy,
yeah.
because imagine the amount of data Facebook would collect.
Yeah, it's using it as an everyday, day-to-day use to do with advertising, to do with social media. It's like there's more you can do with this kind of technology.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right, we're doing it again. We're kind of going off on a tangent. We need to get back to this list.
But
right,
I do
going
have
down.
one more thing to quickly say about the
Go on.
VR, and that
Go on.
is, it wouldn't be Japan.
So
This is
we've
the
got
Cat
some
in the Hat.
music
This
in
is
the
the-
background.
It's the Cat in the
and,
Hat song.
No, do you know what? I can't believe I don't know this. What is this music? What is this music?
I can't remember it.
I can't believe I don't know this. I was going to say Inspector Gadget then, but it's not. It's
I'm pretty sure it's the
Pink
Cat in the-
Panther.
There you go.
Oh, yes.
Right. Anyway, right. we've had
Right,
we've had our
okay.
little Pink Panther bit. PlayStation VR. Obviously, it's been announced in TGS, Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
Only Japan would do this, but they have announced. I don't know if it was announced, but they had a little trial, and I think it was a dating sim. And I still say only in Japan, because I don't see it taking off over here. I don't see it taking off in the West.
I don't know. Give it time, and it probably will.
Give it time, and it probably will.
I mean, this
That's
is
sad
a
thing.
new
That's a
realm.
really sad
This is a
aspect.
completely new realm. But in Japan, it's a completely different scene
it's
to do
been-
with, like, I mean,
A visual novel on it would be
anime
really
and
interesting.
hentai is like huge. Isn't it supposed to be? So I don't know, because people are too busy to have relationships, so it kind of satisfies them.
Oh yeah, they have
outside of
they
that,
have
it's
a
something to
7-day
do with
work
that. Yeah,
week, don't they? So it's
yeah, because I watched a documentary about like sort of the general culture behind.
I don't want to
Japan.
know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, no,
offense to
nothing to
Japan,
do with that.
but-
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a documentary about the sex life, but it was just in general. It was a Vice documentary. Like, credible Vice. Vice
right.
is a very. If you've not watched any Vice documentaries, I really recommend them because they're good. But yeah, this was about Japan, and it's just general culture. And they pointed out that a lot of sort of 30-year-old women, you know, around that age, are kind of more focused on the job.
Yeah,
more
it's a
focused on the working life. Don't really have
orientated country.
time to kind of spend
Go out, socialise.
get into relationship. And they have these like clubs where they get together and meet guys. It all seems a bit weird.
They have like
but-
I think they're called omi-eyes, where they literally go and have a marriage meeting.
Yeah, what I found weird is
But,
there's a couple of guys and literally over the last few years they developed a relationship with their own personal virtual character on the Nintendo 3DS, and they talk to it and, you know, sort of give it clothes and do daily routines, and it'd be like a Tamagotchi, but a bit of a glorified
Like a
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, but
Killed
it'd be
so
like
many
that.
of them.
And what was worrying, it kind of like resembled sort of 15-year-old girl in a school uniform, which kind of like, I don't know, it gives a bit of a wrong
Speaking
vibe.
of that,
if
on
you
the
get into
VR,
it.
the actual Japanese version of it was a Japanese schoolgirl, and I think the idea
I
was
know.
she comes to your house and you're tutoring her, and it was, as soon as I heard it, it was screaming to me, there's something wrong with that picture. But if that's what is right over there, that's what's right over there. But personally, for me, I didn't enjoy it. But they had a Western version where it had a more westernized scene. You were on a beach in a beach house, and this, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
they
think I'll
clearly
steer clear
split
of
it.
that. I
They
mean,
clearly split it down the middle. But no, It's obvious.
I don't think it'd look good if I got involved
in.
in something like that. I mean, considering I work with school kids, that's going to look really good, isn't it?
Yeah, so let's leave that.
Let's go through the list, because I've noticed we're at 40-minute mark, so we know it's going to go a little bit overboard. We do know inevitably, right? So another title that got mentioned, Square Enix.
Oh, a Square game.
Kingdom Hearts Collection. Now on
Which
here,
games
I've got
are this though?
Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which is I think that's the actual bundle title. It's kind of weird. They've got some weird names on.
I know this. Is it the 365.5 days?
Right, let me go through these. Bundle, which includes a remake of the Nintendo 3DS game Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance HD. So some of the Nintendo, or at least one of these, which was on the Nintendo 3DS, is going to come to the big screen, and it's going to be remastered in HD quality, which is actually cool because I don't own a 3DS, and I prefer playing games on screen.
Yeah, same here.
Kingdom Hearts X back cover, one of the most ridiculous names I've heard in a while. It might end up being different because by the time it gets released in the Western world as well, because these Japanese do have strange titles. And Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, which
Birth by Sleep. I know about Birth by Sleep.
What's that on? Is that
I think that's the PSP one.
Oh, PSP? Is it?
It might be the PSP one. I don't know if it's the one with Ventus and
right, but these are sort of
so many different timelines.
Yeah, these are kind of
it's confusing.
Yeah, in between the main series, because we've got isn't there about 3 in the main series?
There's one. There's Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, and that's Sora, Kairi, and
you got
Riku.
But then they got re-released as 1.5 and 2.5 remix.
2.5
absolutely
HD
ridiculous.
Remix.
So they've almost got titles that remind me of I don't know if you heard of the film Naked Gun. They used to Naked Gun 33 and a third would be a sequel, Naked Gun 2.5.
No, I haven't.
Neil, what's he called? Leslie Nielsen, that's him. Classic comedian, actor. Amazingly funny. He died quite a few years ago.
Sad thing.
You need to watch it. Have you never heard of Naked Gun?
No, I've been stuff I've been watching recently is Jason Statham films.
No, these are films from sort of the 90s and that.
From the 90s?
Yeah, watch comedy ones. Naked Gun, look, there's 3 of them and they're really good. He's done some others as well.
I'll check them out then.
He's done a parody one of The Exorcist as well. With Linda Blair, who played the real Exorcist, the girl from The Exorcist. Yeah. She's in it as well. These are really comedy ones. If you see them, you'll probably recognise them. But anyway, so that's Kingdom Hearts. I've only ever played.
I've played 1 and 2.
First one.
I've played 1 and 2, and I love I still hate the second one for making me cry. It was that emotional. It was worse than Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
And that was emotional.
I need to go back. I need to try that. But again, I say that, but there's too many things and there's not enough time. If only we had we could stop time and just play games.
Told you, get time machine, banana, 2 oranges, and some duct tape. I'll make you one.
Right, moving on quickly. We did this last time and we got halfway through the list and then we were realised.
It is halfway through the second
2 hours into the show. Right, the next one was kind of interesting. Again, I didn't even see this mentioned at the show. It was only someone that brought it up later on that knew I was kind of interested in checking out this season, which is an anime. Kind of.
Is this the Steins Gate thing?
No, it's not Steins Gate. It's you can guess. It's based on an anime which is fairly new. No, actually, no, it's not. I think it's been going a little bit. But
are we on about AOT? Attack on Titan game.
Yeah, Attack on Titan. And
my cousin, I hate this anime, so I'm not going to say much.
I've heard people say really good things about it. My cousin's been banging on about me to watch this. Banging on about it to me to watch it because I've got Netflix and it's on there.
I don't know why. I watched 2 episodes and was what the hell am I
Attack on
watching?
Titan, basically, it's, for those who don't know, it's an anime series that has been going for not too long. It's still fairly new. There's quite a few episodes of it and multiple seasons and that. And it seems to be about a village where there's a bunch of people in. They've been in there for, say, 100 years or so. And they've got there's a whole wall that surrounds the entire village, and outside of them there's some giants, and it keeps them out. But there's this one giant called the Titan, and he's huge, so big that he comes over and destroys the wall. and the whole village ends up in chaos, and it's just about all the people trying to survive, really, and but again, I don't know enough about. I've not really got into the series enough to sort of talk about it.
I call it the anime for people who don't watch anime.
Yeah,
because it's like that and Death Note. If you don't watch anime, check them out. You'll love them, but I hate them. So
it looks. I'll tell you what I will say is that
the
the actual Titans and the giants, they look really freaky, really freaky.
They don't look nice.
Like they've not got any skin on where the cheeks and mouth
like,
is. Like
you
it's
know,
been ripped
science
off. It's
models.
weird.
You know when you have the science model skeletons where it shows all the
yeah, it does. It does.
They remind me of them.
Yeah, they're weird. But the people have these weird sort of like chain rope things that they swing about.
Yeah,
on.
it was weird as hell. They have like they're attached to like the hips, and they
fly
like
them out,
cannon
like
things
fly
that fire,
around on them. Sorry,
fire harpoons in a way, and they like harpoon through trees on these things, and then it would, if that was actually real, the amount of fun would be awesome. It would be so much fun.
They remind me of the weapons in a game, and I bet you've never heard of this. It's an older game. They remind me of these weapons in a game called Pang.
Pang. We've talked about
Pang.
this.
I think
Super
we did.
Pang.
Yeah.
We've talked about
That's the classic game where you
shoot
blow
up
the bubbles.
Yeah,
and the bubbles split, and then they split more and more and more until they can't split no more. That's a brilliant game. Check out, particularly Super Pang.
Super Pang.
That was awesome back in the day. That was awesome.
But yeah, that's AOT then.
So Attack on Titan, there's also a
live action film being
that's
made.
the word I was looking for. Live action movie.
And I'm not going to watch it
Someone
either.
I know has seen it and said it's excellent. But again, I kind of want to get a bit into the anime series before I get into it. And there's apparently a game by Koei Tecmo. I've got a bit of writing on this notepad, and I'm not sure what it says because I'm sure I didn't write this out. Right, it says developed by Amiga Force, the team behind the Dynasty Warriors franchise. The game is based on popular dystopian fantasy manga and anime series. The voice actors from the TV adaptation will go behind the microphone for the game as well. Yeah, I think I must have copy and pasted that.
That's pretty awesome.
Site, so
is that for Attack on Titan?
Yeah, it's some kind of. It looks like a general 3D. It looks a bit like.
It's going to be like a fight.
Devil May Cry sort of thing.
Oh, so like the One Piece game where it was there's like 1,000,001 enemies and you're so overpowered you run through them and slaughter them. And
again, I've not seen enough on it. I need to, again,
I've seen too many Dynasty Warriors X games.
As time goes on, I might bring these up again in the future. But again, this is just a brief
I
cover.
want Street Fighter 5 because they announced 2 characters at TGS about Street Fighter 5.
Did he?
I think it was Rashid and Karin. And Rashid is
new characters. So I don't recognise those names.
I've seen gameplay, and Karin looks like Fei Long with even more mix-ups. And oh god, it's scary. But yeah, hopefully that's what I'm on.
Carry on. Moving down the list. I don't know a lot about this one, but it's another Square Enix one, and this is Saga Grace.
I've never heard of
this. Which is a new
this.
game in the Saga universe. Now, I've got a couple of Saga games, old ones. There's a game called Saga Frontier on the PS2. PS1, sorry.
Never heard of it.
In fact, it's the second game. It's very hand-drawn.
Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks really good. The RPG. It was. I never actually finished that. And there's a really awful one that I've got on the PS2. That it just looks like it's not being finished at all. It looks like a board game. Again, I've not got enough time to go into that. I'll probably bring that up in an RPG episode at some point, but it's really awful. And I think there's. Have you heard of Xenosaga?
I've heard of Xenoblade Chronicles, but that's probably not the game you're on about.
What were you doing then? Were you like?
I'm shuffling my feet.
Yeah, I thought so. I saw a bit of a shuffle going on there. You were locking into this swing. We've got some swing music on in the background. Right. Okay. So, so there's a new game. I don't know much about that, so I can't really talk about some of the game. We've also got another Square Enix game, Dragon Quest Builders.
Oh God!
The interesting thing about this is it looks like almost a blatant rip-off of
It is a blatant
Minecraft.
rip-off in my honest opinion.
It's Dragon Quest
characters in a Minecraft world.
In a Minecraft world, yeah.
What the hell? Have you run out of ideas, Square? Answer me.
It does look quite cool, like in terms of graphically, but
Minecraft's not available in Japan, is it?
it's what they do with it. Again, I've not read deep into it, so I don't know what the gameplay and mechanics are going to be, because I got this information when I first saw it announced, and it looks very like Minecraft, but it's what they can do to make it different. It's whether they're going to have a different kind of gameplay take on it, and whether there's other things you can do, hopefully, and that's going to be the ultimate deciding factor of whether it's going to work or not. If they've got their own things that make it unique from Minecraft, that's going to be important.
Yeah.
You know.
Because hopefully it isn't a blatant rip-off. I've been waiting for a new Dragon Quest game. I think there is one coming out in March next year with Dragon Quest 14, 15, 16 maybe. It's somewhere in that region of number.
Well, I thought it was 11.
Or am I thinking of Final Fantasy? Well, they're the two. I know.
Yeah, you probably think, no, the reason why is because
they've done so many. 15 comes out next year.
9 came out on the DS. I think there were a few versions of that actually. And then 10 came out apparently in Japan from what I remember, and it was an online game, a bit like the online versions of Final Fantasy, like 11.
And 14.
But that's not coming out over here.
That game's good.
And I think it's Dragon Quest 11 that's been apparently announced to come out. I think that's the order, you know. But anyway, so that's Dragon Quest Builders. Moving on from there, one that I think you've been interested in, and it has piqued my interest as well, because I've played a few of the previous titles. Square Enix, Star Ocean, Integrity and Faith.
Oh yeah,
Faithlessness.
Star Ocean game. I've been meaning to play one, and I've never played one. And this one
is the 5th one in the series. Does it? Have you actually looked into it?
I've seen a little bit of gameplay. It looks alright.
I saw very brief
It was like snippets.
The thing is, I don't like looking too much into something sometimes, because the more I get from something in advance, it starts to become less of a brand new fresh experience when by the time it come to playing the game. So I kind of distance myself a bit, but that's the 5th one in the series. It's a series that started back in around about 1995, I think, on the Super Nintendo. I played some of that. I first got into it on the PS1, the second one. The second story came out on there. That's a really cool looking game. It's got sort of the backdrops, the pre-rendered backdrops that you get on the likes of Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9, that sort of thing. But the characters are more sprites, 2D sprites, so they kind of mix it up a little bit, but it's quite cool.
Yeah.
And also Star Ocean Till the End of Time on the PS2, which it's a long game, but it is really good. It's really good.
Ooh, I'll have to pick that up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I bricked my PS3 the other day.
Did you? How did you do that?
I don't even know how. I was installing Yakuza 3 and it died.
In what way? How did it die?
I turned it off one day and come to turn it on the next, it wouldn't turn on.
What, you not got the yellow light of death apparently? Or
it just turns red 3 times. It doesn't matter because I'm thinking of just switching the hard drive. Taking the hard drive out, slapping a new hard drive in.
I'm wondering how long mine's going to last, because I worry myself quite a bit with it, because it's a few years old now. It's on a slim line, but I leave it on
Mine's nearly
to
a decade
charge
old.
my phone up. I should get a wall charger for my phone, but I keep using the USB because I lost mine a while ago. So I've got a little crappy USB from Poundland that I just plug into the USB port, and I'm charging my phone up. And I have got it set to switch off after something like 4 hours. But it does worry me, because sometimes you hear the fan whirring and you can clearly tell that it's overheating. I'm just thinking, after 4 years of using it regularly, I don't know how long it's going to last for, but you can pick them up for next to nothing.
10 years I've had my PS3, and only just now has it died on me. I'm happy. 10 years, I love that damn thing. Good. Still got to play the DMC games though.
Yeah, so Star Ocean, one that I've been meaning to play is the 4th one.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
The Last Hope.
The E series.
All right, you're looking at it now. You got some footage of it.
It reminds me of the E. Oh god.
It has got that sort of anime feel to it, definitely.
I'm getting this game. I've decided that.
No, you should do. It'll be something more to talk about. And I think
I do want to play it till the end of time.
And I think if you get that, it'll encourage me to get it.
You need to upgrade to a PS4.
Oh, right, yeah. I was going to say that. I was going to say all that, but that might be a problem. You know.
The other games, like, there's too many good games coming out on PS4 recently. I mean, there's Battlefront.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3,
Fallout
Disgaea
3,
5,
Fallout 3, Fallout 4.
Fallout. I'm a Skyrim guy.
Yeah, I don't care. Fallout 4 is one that I'm definitely going to be playing.
I'll pick it up eventually.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of them later on games for me though. But Disgaea 5, that's my go-to for next year.
So continuing on, we've also got another game series based on the Final Fantasy universe, and it's called World of Final Fantasy. Do you know much about this?
No, it just reminds me of I think there was a YouTube video a while back called World of Warcraft.
See, the problem is when I collated all these games, it was a few weeks ago, and it was a bit before we even did the show previously, and because it's a while now, I've forgotten a lot of the things on the individual aspects of these games, but it was they've got sort of diminutive versions of Final Fantasy characters that look sort of very sort of cutesy, you know, like chibi characters or whatever they call them, you know, like the little tiny simplified cutesy characters that you get.
Yeah, I think the idea of it is accessibility to younger players.
I might be wrong, but on what I've written down here, but I'm sure it's something like it uses both sort of the cutesy characters, but they turn into the proper versions.
The actual versions, yeah,
for combat. But when you play the game, they go back to the cutesy versions. It's some weird stuff.
I think
it sounds like something you'd expect Nintendo to do. It's like that kind of thing.
It's like a Pokemon game.
Yeah, but there is actually they're doing something similar, like, because I think these days you have to come up with wacky ideas to come up with something new. You know, because everything's been done to death. They've got, I think it's a Zelda game where you can play it in. There's going to be aspects of it in 3D. No, it's one of the Dragon Quest games. Yeah, one of the new Dragon Quest games that's coming out. You can play it in 2D, overhead, old school 8-bit, Nintendo style, original Nintendo style.
Like RPG style.
Yeah, but at the same time, on the other screen, you can see it in 3D, modern, and they play seamlessly together at the same time.
That's pretty awesome. That's really awesome.
I don't think it's for the entire game, but that's some kind of weird quirkiness.
I know that the game World of Final Fantasy is going to be using the active time bar system for battling, which was, I know a heavily modified version was used in Final Fantasy 13 and 13 Part 2.
Right.
I think it was originally, I think that was the combat system that came out in Final Fantasy 4. But don't get me wrong, I love 13. I do love 13.
What's cool about the active time bar system is you've got to be on your toes, so you can't just hang around and wait. So when you've got to make decisions, it adds that sort of urgency.
In 13, you got as long as your paradigms are on point. In 13, you could press auto battle and the game would play itself.
Right. Okay. Before we we're gonna go over. I'm not really bothered.
We're not bothered really. 1 hour 10, 15 is fine.
We've got a few things to go through yet. More stuff.
Oh god.
Danganronpa 3.
Oh, Danganronpa.
I know nothing about this, only that I'm pretty sure it's a visual novel. I've added this to the list because you mentioned this game and we were talking about visual novels.
I own a Vita. I do own a PS Vita.
Yeah.
And I've seen it a few times on the store. Danganronpa.
Explain Danganronpa.
By the looks of it, I've never actually played this, by the way.
I thought you had.
No, I've looked at it, but it's they have 3 main titles, 2 are visual novels.
Oh, right.
And the 3rd is an adventure spin-off.
Right.
They are doing a new one. The new one's going to be another visual novel, but I like visual novels. I've not played Fate Stay Night. I've seen Fate Zero and I've seen the Fate Stay Night anime, but as far as visual novels go, what I've seen of that one, I'd say that's the best. I like the idea of multiple endings, especially the whole. I like how BioWare is slipping it into their games, especially with the Mass Effect series. Your choices have an impact on the universe. It works
really well in that.
And that's a visual novel in its entirety. Is that every choice you make changes your course or the path you go. I know in the Fate Stay Night visual novel, you could change one day. You could make one choice one day, die, make a different choice, live, and it would be so. There were so many ends in death.
It's also included in
series.
Telltale games. Like, have you actually seen any of the Walking Dead games?
No, and I've not seen the
really,
show
really
either.
good.
I'm not a fan of the Telltale games, really.
Oh, I could tell by the look on your face.
It's kind of it's the fact that they're multiple part games. The fact that you got to get season 1 first, and
yeah, I prefer to play a full game from beginning to end, but I did that. I got it much after it had been released anyway, and I just played it. And they're not that long, but what's good about them is like the thing with Mass Effect is I put so much time into that, and like the second one, I must have put 105 hours into the game, and that was just the second one. And I view that game as a trilogy, and you have to pretty much play the first one and the third one. And if you add all the time together that I played that, you're talking like 250 hours or something.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to want to go through that anytime soon at all. My cousin, when he played it, he replayed it. He played it when I started it, he said he was going to replay it again, but I don't even think I can imagine doing that within the next 10 years. You know, in fact, I don't even know if I'm going to go back to it. So it's kind of, I don't feel like I'm going to experience how it's going to change. But for something like Walking Dead, it's very simple, easy to go back and play it again, because you can go through an episode in a few hours quite easily. So and there's only 5 episodes per season, so you could easily experience it in different ways.
I don't know. It's the other thing that put me off of the Walking Dead game was the zombies aspect. I'm not a fan of zombies. I'm really not. Don't get me wrong. I love Shaun of the Dead and I love Zombieland, but zombies have been overdone to hell.
There are a lot of them, but you just
now.
have to filter that out of your mind. I know what you're saying, but it's still good to delve into every now and again. I suppose it depends if you're into the horror aspect of games, and I've always kind of enjoyed that, because
not my thing. Really.
I grew up watching a lot of old school horror films from the sort of 90s and 80s and stuff. And of course, as soon as we got to, particularly in the PlayStation, the Resident Evil, Silent Hills, But anyway, moving on, we've got more to talk about. This one, I've not mentioned it. We've not had a discussion about this. I don't know loads about this series. I think I played one of these at Play Expo, one of the old school versions. I think it was one from '96.
Go on.
A brand new King of the Fighters 14.
King of the Fighters, that's a fighting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the one
of course it is. It's going to be a fighting game. It's King of the Fighters. Right, King of the Fighters is an old school SNK game. Like, it's basically from the Neo Geo age, that started in around 95 or something.
Yeah.
And that's been going for a long time, and there's 14 of them now. What I remember is I played one of them for the first time, and it was one like 96 or something in Play Expo, because they have all the arcades. They have an arcade section with a lot of the old school, so you get your Miss Pac-Man, Afterburner, Donkey Kong, the original genuine cabinets, which are cool. And they had King of the Fighters, and I played that, but you have to pick 3 characters, I think, and you sort of have those characters, and those are your lifelines. If you lose a bar, you play your second character and then your third character, so it's like the equivalent of having 3 lifelines. But the downside that it makes it more of a steeper learning curve, because you have to learn how to handle at least 3 characters.
Yeah, all 3 different characters.
And that makes it very difficult.
Ooh.
And especially if you're getting into the zone with one character and then you die and you have no choice but to switch your tactics, I can see it being difficult. Well, that's a brand new one, so I wasn't sure if you were interested in that.
I've not really heard of it, but that does look
there is another, I think King of the Fighters 13. I've seen that around.
Yeah, I think that's
quite
Steam.
cheap, Right, couple left on the list. Gravity Rush 2.
Never.
I found this really interesting.
Wait a minute, is that the Vita game?
Yeah.
The one where it was a launch title. I'm pretty sure it was originally a launch title.
It got a massive amounts of praise. It was sort of like a girl you control in an environment that looked like almost like an MC Escher.
It reminded me of like Patapon in a way.
Yeah, it was kind of very cubic and very puzzly almost, but I'm guessing I've not played it, but I'm guessing the orientation changes and you
it does
free fall onto different platforms and that sort of thing, and lots of cubes and steps and all kinds of weird stuff going in the environment. But it got a lot of attention when that came out, but that was obviously exclusive to the Vita.
Yeah, it was.
Well, apparently they're coming out with a sequel called obviously Gravity Rush 2, and it's going to be packaged with the original game, and the original one's getting remastered for the big screen. When you buy that, you'll get the first one as well, and the second one. So it seems like a pretty decent deal.
That's a quite interesting bundle.
Yeah, so if you've not even played it, just to try it out, you know you're going to get, like, even paying sort of full price.
You're going to get your money's worth.
Definitely.
Straight away.
And we all know that the first one got
the first one, everyone sang praises about it.
So I'm just interested to find out about the game in general. So if you've never even played the first one, you get to sort of introduce yourself to the series from the first one at decent quality. What was interesting as well, this game is getting remastered not just by anyone but by Bluepoint, and they are some of the leaders in remastering industry. They've already worked on classics like the God of War series and Eco Shadow of the Colossus and the Metal Gear Solid Collection remaster, so you can expect a really good job because not all of them have been fortunate enough to receive the best of remasters.
I mean, you don't want
namely
a game to be remastered.
Examples like Silent Hill Collection, which had a lot of controversy when that got released. But so, there's promising times with that game. And the final one I've got on my list, one more that I'll put down, which has kind of intrigued me. But again, I can see, for me personally, it's probably going to be a while before I get to it because I want to play the others before I get to it. Persona 5.
Oh God. 4 I hated, 3 I loved. Persona 3 was so beautiful. Oh my, the story was out of this world.
You've said, we've talked about this before, and you said you prefer 3 over 4, and it's kind of interesting
because of the darker aspect.
Yeah.
It's a lot more nitty gritty. Persona 4 has a very it has that Danganronpa detective thing going on, because in Persona 4 these murders are happening and they're all linked to this thing called the Shadow Channel, I think it's called. No, it's the Midnight Channel. And at midnight this channel turns on the TV just automatically, and it shows the person inside, and the day after one of them gets murdered, and it has this detective aspect to it, and that's Persona 4. Persona 3 was a lot more nitty gritty. You play as an orphan who was orphaned in a car crash, and it skips straight away to high school, and you go into this high school and you meet this kid, and it's obviously the persona, will you take responsibility for your own actions, sign this contract, and obviously you sign the contract as the protagonist, and you meet Igor in the Velvet Room, and that's your standard persona where you meet what a persona is, and it goes in depth. There's a thing called the hidden hour. Every time the day hits 12 o'clock midnight, it slips into an extra hour, and everyone's in a coffin, but people who are awake naturally, and they move around in this hidden hour. I think it's called the Dark Hour, and there's a tower, I think it's called the Pit of Tartarus or something. And the whole aspect is there's a deity out to destroy the entirety of humanity. But there's a lot more to it than just that. Obviously, I'm not going to go too in depth because there's probably I probably not spoiled it, but there's spoilers a lot more if I go in depth. It's very mind-boggling.
A few months ago, earlier in the year, I actually started the first Persona, which is called Persona Revelations, in America, and I'm using a ESPXE, which is the emulator for the PlayStation. I've got a game ongoing, but I've temporarily paused it. Good sort of 10 hours into it. It's not too bad. It's like it's based around this school, and there's a bunch of school kids sort of together in this room. They've each got their own personality, and they seem to play some game where they conjure up this persona or date or whatever you said from another dimension or something, and it starts from there, and then weird things happen with the school, and all these demons start appearing, and again, it's another one of those games I wouldn't mind talking about in the future when I've gone back to it and refreshed my memory. I've also played through a game called Shin Megami Tensei, which is actually based on
It's Atlas,
the
isn't
same sort. Yeah, it's based on the same series. In fact, I think you can get Persona Shin Megami Tensei. It's weird. I don't understand
Persona
it fully,
Shin
but
Megami Tensei.
it started off as Megami Tensei on the Nintendo originally, and Megami Tensei 2, and then I think on the SNES you got Shin Megami Tensei, one called Shin Megami Tensei Eve, which was a reimagining of one of the stories.
It's also
What
the
If
games
something.
were Devil Hunter.
Yeah.
I think that's
Devil
a spin-off.
Summoner, I
Devil
think it's
Summoner.
Summoner. Yeah. When the PS1 came out, you got Persona, and then Persona 2 as well. And then PS2 came out, you started getting games like Devil Summoner, like you said, and just pure up Shin Megami Tensei. So there's a lot of offshoots of the same game, and they're slightly different.
They're all developed by Atlas, aren't they?
I really liked, they are, yeah. I really like Shin Megami Tensei. I really like the
thing we say about
one in
Atlas, they like children's tears. They make everyone cry.
Yeah. The one on the SNES was really cool. I didn't think I'd get into it because the graphics are obviously like quite basic, but it's like a first-person game, and you're just walking down a corridor for most of it, and it looks quite simplistic, but the gameplay is really addictive, and you get these demons that you kind of merge together, and you'll speak to the enemies, so you'll be fighting the enemies. You'll fight a demon, and if you've got the right alignment, because it's like good or evil, and bear in mind this is a game from about 1994 or something. I might even be like 92 or something. I can't remember. You've got a game that's like got advanced mechanics in it for the time. It's sort of, you've got light and dark and middle, and you can speak to the enemies and recruit them on your team. So then they become a bit like Pokemon. They become your allies. But then you can go to this, I forgot what the name of it is, but you go to this place where you fuse them together, and then they become stronger and entirely different demon, and then they fight alongside you. But from what I remember, from what I've read, is Persona's different. You don't recruit them on your team.
You discover them.
I think they become like elements of your. You get abilities rather than they become an actual character on your team. You get an element of a persona.
In Persona 3, every time
becomes a persona, and it's like magic.
A battle, you could pick a card.
It was to do with cards. Yeah, you could pick a card.
If you pick this card, like you you found a pixie.
Yeah.
And there was the idea you could have multiple of the same type of persona because you could fuse the persona.
Yeah.
And it was like a pixie and an angel made something else.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way up to, I don't know, I think it was Messiah was the top one.
Yeah. I mean, we are running out of time. I mean, originally we said in the past
it was going to be an hour.
Yeah, it was going to be. And not only that, we planned on talking about a few other things. I mean, in the future, I think I want to bring up some future topics. For example, there's this console called the Retro VGS.
I've heard about it.
Some guy from America, I can't remember his name, but he wants to create this console that plays modern games but that have a retro feel to them, not like limited to the 16-bit era. Now, there's a lot of developers making games like that, such as Shovel Knight, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he wants them to be available as cartridge games, and he's got this sort of original mould legally of the Atari Jaguar, and he's planning on making this new console in the same shape essentially, but calling it the Retro VGS.
Yeah.
And he's put up a Indiegogo recently, but I can't believe this. I thought it seemed interesting. There's a lot of people skeptical about it, and I can understand why. But he put the Indiegogo on. I thought, oh, this is cool, and he was all happy that he got like $50,000 on the first day, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Until I saw how much he was asking for. Like $2 million.
Yeah, never
absolutely ridiculous. By about the fifth day into it, when he was on $60,000, you could just tell. And a couple of weeks into it, he's cancelled it now. But again, I wouldn't mind talking a bit more about that in the future. We've also been covering a list on Romo.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to.
We've not got enough time for it now,
today,
but they've done their own top 100 games, and in the last episode we covered the 96 to 100, I think it was.
I think
6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Yeah. So those games.
I think we did.
And we're going to
we're
to do the next few in the next podcast.
So yeah, you will see the return of the countdown of Realmux Top 100.
Yeah, and we've got a few more things planned.
We've got a few little ideas you may enjoy. So,
but hopefully you enjoy that. The other thing as well is our YouTube channel is actually a brand new thing. We've had it up for about a week. Our main issue was knowing how to upload long files. Fortunately, I managed to be able to sort it out. All it requires is you set up your account and you trigger a code through your phone and you confirm this code, and then that's it. I thought there was more to it. I think in the past you need to apply for it. So yeah, YouTube is going to be for now our main thing. We are on Mixcloud as well, but I don't know how long I'm going to use that. I'm thinking because it's just a streaming service anyway, and same as YouTube, it's the streaming service. But we are thinking about maybe for anyone who wants to download. Obviously, there are programs out there websites that you can download from YouTube if you want to do. But to make it a bit easy, we are thinking about, and these are options to keep it free at the moment, using a SoundCloud account.
Yeah.
But you'll have to be quick to get them because you can only upload say 200 minutes or something like that. So it'll be like sort of 1 or 2 episodes at a time, and then when the next one comes out, we'll just replace it. So, but there'll be there's a download limit on free accounts, so up to 100 downloads. But yeah, we'll do that for anyone who wants to download it. But until next time, this has been interesting show.
Yeah, it's been a good show, and
talking about retro, talking about the
Tokyo Game Show,
and some of the stuff to expect. Next time, I'm gonna talk about my experiences at Play Expo. I'm gonna enjoy that today without you.
Money.
Yeah.
Source of all life's issues, really. That and PC's blowing up and PS3's bricking themselves.
Yeah, it's a massive shame you couldn't come. You know.
But hopefully, maybe
what
you can enlighten me.
I might try and get a few pictures if I can, and maybe put them up in the podcast so you can see what you missed if you didn't turn up, or maybe you're going. Maybe you want to drop a comment on your experiences there. But a big ups to the first 2 people who subscribed to us. We're really low level at the moment, you know. This is why we didn't use Mixcloud. Mixcloud was just like going nowhere.
It was hard to promote as well.
Yeah, we were hoping that maybe YouTube can do a little bit better for us. And yeah, you know, big ups to those 2 subscribers that have subscribed to us so far.
Yeah, thanks. So this has been myself, Levi,
and this is myself, Mr. Hush.
And that's it for tonight.
You've been listening to the Banhammer Podcast, episode 4. Until next time.
See you later.
Bye.